Sometimes the fastest way to leveling up is being willing to pivot and pivot quickly instead of forcing something that has already expired. It's never too late to pivot. It's never too late to reinvent yourself as you're becoming her. Today, I'm going to share 7 things I wish I did in my 20s that I'm now doing in my 30s. And honestly, time is flying. I am now 31 years old. I'm going to turn 32 years old at the end of the year. And I am just like, how am I going to get X, Y, and Z done before my wedding, before children, before this, before that? I kind of get anxious when I think about it. And I was like, you know what? Let me talk with y'all, because I'm sure many of you watch my videos and think that I have it all figured out or I have it all together. And I feel like this is a video for us all. How many of you feel like you're too old? How many of you feel like it's too complicated? How many of you feel like it's simply just too late for you to start building the life of your dreams or becoming the woman of your dreams that you've thought about, that you've dreamt about, the goals that she has, the life that she lives? How many of you even feel like it's too late for you to change your career, or too late for you to heal, too late for you to become the woman of your dreams that you once dreamt of becoming? I feel like a lot of people, including myself, have quietly just grieved the version of ourselves that we have abandoned out of fear, out of comfort, out of toxic relationships that we decided to stay in, insecurities, and even just staying simply stuck for too long. The one thing that I have learned in my early 30s while pivoting is your life can change very quickly when you decide and you stick to transforming and changing. When you finally decide to the change, when you finally decide to the transformation, when you finally decide that where you would like to go and see yourself is going to require a new focus and honestly a lack of patience. I feel like we are so patient with toxicity, distractions, and fear, insecurities. We are so patient to allow these things to creep and take hold of our life and our time. And until you really get sick of that feeling of being stuck on that hamster wheel, you really don't do anything until you look up one day and you're like, I could have had the life that I desired, or I could have been the woman that I've dreamt of becoming for so long, yet I allowed so many things to stand in the way for too long. And I feel like if I don't make this video, a lot of women, especially this year, my girls, my people, I don't want you to go into another year or another season or another summer, another fall with regrets. I want you to feel like I took a chance, I took many risks this year, and I had the courage to pivot when something or someone did not serve me. One thing I wish I did sooner, I wish I pivoted sooner. How many of you guys could agree I wish, or you wish you pivoted sooner? I'm headed to the gym. That's why I'm in my gym clothes, so don't come for me. I simply just stayed attached to things for too long. I stayed attached to toxic relationships. I stayed attached to jobs that did not serve me, or they didn't even have the pay rate that I desired for the lifestyle that I wanted for my life. I stayed in friendships for too long. And how many of you guys can agree with this one? You stayed attached to the old version of you that you've outgrown. And sometimes we do this because we confuse loyalty with stagnation. Just because you built something with someone and now you're like, I've already put in this much work, I've already invested this much time, does not mean that you have to stay there. Just because you are good at X, Y, and Z at this company or running this company does not mean you have to stay there, or that's the only thing that you're able to pursue. And you know what? Some of you already know that you're checked out of some environments already. You're checked out of your job. You're checked out of your relationship because it's so toxic, even some friendships. Is that my doctor? I drove up to go and see my doctor. But let's be honest, fear is keeping you there. Fear of starting over, fear of judgment, fear of wasting our time. Newsflash, staying somewhere that no longer aligns with you, no longer serves the version that you're reaching to climb and meet, will only waste more of your own time. If it no longer aligns, you're only wasting your own time. How many of my girls, they're like, oh, I want a whole lifestyle change. I want to feel healthier. I want to feel like this. You're mentally groggy. You're not feeling that well. And you stop and you start and you stop and you start. You are just wasting your own time going back to what feels familiar. The snacks, the way you've been raised, what you feel is normal from what you have been taught from childhood, things that we should be outgrowing and learning the better path for our overall health, for our finances, for our mental clarity, and how to just function as women overall. If it doesn't serve you, this light is hitting. If it doesn't serve you, you are wasting your own time. And had to get to the point where I looked myself in the mirror and I'm like, Shen, come on. You're wasting your own time in certain areas of your life, even today. Sometimes the fastest way to leveling up is being willing to pivot and pivot quickly instead of forcing something that has already expired. I want you to ask yourself, what have you been holding on to simply because it's familiar? Number 2, I wish I believed in myself a whole lot sooner. I wish I believed in myself more. How many of you guys can relate to this when I say I have talked myself out of opportunities before I even tried? Talk about overthinking, overanalyzing, fear before even trying, doubting myself, waiting to feel ready. Meanwhile, confident people, they were failing, they were learning, they were adjusting and processing faster simply because they moved before they even felt ready. They moved before they felt fully prepared. And how many of you are like, I'm a perfectionist, but yet you're still on a hamster wheel? A lot of us are in a cycle of, what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if it doesn't work out? But years later, the scariest question becomes, what if I never try? I wish I failed faster, learned faster, started sooner, because confidence is usually built through action, through taking risks, not before it. 3, I wish I didn't return to what kept hurting me, what felt familiar, even if it was toxicity. I wish I knew my worth fast enough to know I needed to exit from these red flags. I wish I stopped romanticizing potential, but instead recognizing and paying attention to patterns that continue to repeat themselves. But I was just filled with so much hope. There were times that I overstayed in situations where the red flags were obvious. And instead of leaving fully, I'd revisit them out of loneliness, out of comfort, attachment, or feeling familiar. Oftentimes people don't go back because something is good. They go back because it's familiar. I want you to look at something you're struggling with right now. For example, my clients that struggle with processed food or takeout. When they do this challenge, they're feeling amazing. They're held accountable to stay on track. But the minute they're done, they're like, I'm going back to what feels familiar. Or maybe you have a girlfriend and you're constantly coaching her on her breakup. And the minute you're not around, she texts you a week later, like, hey girl, I went back to him because he feels familiar. We've all done this where we go back to what doesn't serve us but feels familiar. And familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar growth. But every time you return to what drains you or delays you, you reinforce the belief that you deserve it. There's so many women that will come to me about relationship advice and I'll be like, that man is toxic. There's so many red flags and you don't like the way you feel. Often, this is not a one-off. Every relationship has their issues. However, you can tell when someone wants to be in your life. Like, you should not be fighting for love. I've been there before. And I stayed so long because I didn't want other women to have him. However, I kept reinforcing the belief that I deserve this. I deserve to feel like I had to fight for love. that I didn't deserve to be a princess or treated like a queen or a princess or spoiled or just treated how I'm treated now. Well, and until I got sick of how I was being treated and I became aware of what felt so familiar, that is, life started to get better. Of course, I had trial and error before I finally took some time off from dating, but you do have to sit with yourself. You do have to be single for a little bit, and you do have to address the inner work that has been neglected, to why you keep running back to what is familiar. Processed food. If you grew up eating processed food, of course, in your adult life where your metabolism has slowed down because you are not as active as you were as a child, you have to outgrow and start to learn new ways of eating and eating clean, not just eating clean 3 days out of the 7 days of the week, or eating clean with your trainer and then going home and shitting on yourself because you had a bad day. So my deep question for you here is, how many times have you abandoned yourself or abandoned your goals trying to hold on to someone, or trying to hold on to something, or trying to hold on to that feeling of comfort and satisfaction in that moment when you cave in to food you shouldn't be eating or things you shouldn't be doing? How many times have you abandoned where you would like to go, and then you're like, oh, I feel like this is just what I deserve right now, and you're just on that hamster wheel? Number 4, I wish I used my money at a younger age more intentionally. I wish I spent less money trying to look successful and more money actually building a future. Less emotional spending, less impulse purchases, less buying for validation, and more investing into skills, into assets, more assets now, building more businesses, or just taking my businesses more seriously. Health, mentorship, experiences, and long-term opportunities. A lot of people are in debt trying to maintain an image instead of building actual freedom. And it's not until I really hit my 30s, like my 30. The minute I hit 29 is when I started to wake up. I was always saving, but I was still saving, investing, and buying things that I didn't need. And within my 30s, I'm 31 now, I have been way more intentional with how I spend my money. And I am just so much more cautious of debt. The only debt I would prefer to be in is only for business, building a business, investing in your business, or investments, anything that is going to become an asset, an appreciating asset. A lot of people don't even realize how much they spent on processed food, takeout, alcohol, drugs, all these things that can add up. Even our fitness clothes, it can add up too. It's so important that you open up an LLC or a business where you can have a little bit more write-offs that are going to benefit your pockets rather than just buying things on your personal. Be mindful of your spending. You don't need everything. And I just started to become a minimalist so that I could actually start to invest more. So instead of buying so much clothes, I now take that money to invest way more than I ever did before, because I kept buying until I realized I don't really go many places. I don't really care to be on social media taking pictures. I'm not that person. I'll go on Pinterest for the thumbnails. And I love experiences and assets, the things that I want to pass down to my children. I also love learning. And I wish I had done this a whole lot sooner rather than accumulating all the clothes, the units, the wigs, shoes, all of this stuff, alcohol, cannabis, the things that I spent my money on that I really didn't need. Tons of candles, tons of pillows, tons of makeup. You don't need so much. And what I would love to give my family, my mother, I have to be very smart and intentional now. And ladies, it's not too late to start to look at your finances like that. I started looking at my finances like that at 29 so that I could really start to be intentional with, do you really need it, Shen? And I do coach myself to be wiser now. So I want you to ask yourself, does your current spending reflect the future you say that you want? So I know that I want a really nice lifestyle, and it's not about the stuff. I want to be able to give my mom and my children the best. So intentionally, 2 to 3 years ago, I started limiting my shopping, and I've only decreased in shopping and started increasing in investing. And listen, ladies, if you're like, Shen, I don't even have a dollar to my name, I want you to look at what one of my clients said to me. She's like, now that I meal prep, my grocery bill is a lot cheaper. Of course it's going to be, because you have a plan. You know how much you're going to be spending. You know what you're looking for. You're not just adding things into your cart and then just like, oh, it's $300 at the cart at the checkout. No, you should know your budgets for groceries and make sure that this is what we eat. So this is the budget. Personally, my partner and I spend about $400 to $500 per month on groceries. That would be about $350 USD, and that is just on groceries for two people that eat. Baby, I'm eating right now. I'm eating while I'm in the car. I take breaks and then I pick up the camera. I take breaks, I eat some, and then I pick up the camera. But we eat a good amount of food per day, and we are muscular people. We're eating clean food, and usually we go out 1 to 2 times a week, but we are very structured now. We can't just be outside spending when you're looking to have a wedding or family or start a family or this or that or travel. I personally would rather spend my money on experiences and travel and just stay low key while I'm in the city. I'm just working, saving, sleeping, prioritizing my health and my well-being. I don't need to be outside when this is not the city to be outside in. I rather be outside in another country, another continent. I just want you to look at your finances and look at them often. I check my statements, or I check my bank accounts at least once a day or every other day to just make sure I'm staying on top of what's coming out, what's going in, and just focused on that. So I'm making sure that I'm not overspending. Number 5, I wish I knew that I was a problem a lot sooner. I feel like a lot of the times we are in denial, and women will be coming out of a relationship. Oh, he did this, da, da, da. Honestly, you got to take accountability. And I feel like a lot of women have a hard time, even men, oh my God, they're terrible too. But I'm talking for the girlies because I've been there and I'm a girl. I feel like a lot of women have a hard time saying, hey, it's my fault. It was my attitude. It was my character. It was my bad because I'm unhealed. I wish I stopped blaming everyone sooner and became more self-aware. Because you know what I realized? I got to the point while I was single for 2 years, I realized that we enter new friendships, new work environments, new careers, and new chapters, still unhealed, still carrying unresolved trauma, grief, insecurities, tension, emotional immaturity, and self-sabotaging behaviors. And then you wonder why these cycles continue to repeat itself. And I had to keep asking myself, girl, what is going on? Why do I keep attracting these garbage men or trash friends or women that gossip? Baby, I had to change. Now, men will DM me like, I saw you in person, but I cannot approach you. I don't have the courage to approach you because I feel like you're above my league. The way that you carry yourself is above my league. There's just an aura that you give off when you have done so much work on yourself. I'm a kind, humble girl, but I'm not gonna just flirt with anybody or give you the time of day. I'm not looking for validation or attention. I could care less. I'm always about my business. I'm focused. I don't need to be seen. I prefer actually not to be seen. And there were times in my life where I would entertain absolutely anything, not anything, but if you were good looking and you had a nice car, I would entertain you. See what you're all about. You got nice shoes on, nice watch, I'll entertain you. But just because people have these materialistic things doesn't mean that they are good human beings. Like, some people, they could be wealthy and they're the worst human beings you have ever met. Or they could be beautiful and their character is trash. So I've just learned to have so much more discernment after working on myself and calling myself out on my own BS. At some point, healing becomes your responsibility. Not because what happened to you is fair, but your future still depends on you. So listen, if you needed to hear this one, you cannot build a healthy life if you are refusing to confront unhealthy patterns within yourself. Number 6, I wish I stopped half doing everything. Now, Y'all, I have an announcement to make in a few weeks. But while I was professionally competing, I would half-ass my diet plan or my cardio. Anything that I didn't like to do, I would half-ass it. And I'm looking back at the opportunities I had in my 20s and the opportunities I have now in my 30s. I am so much more disciplined and just focused now in my 30s because I feel like I don't have any more time. This is the prime of my early stages to plant seeds, to make something of myself, to move differently. I wish I had that kind of fire and energy and discipline and focus in my 20s. So if you are younger than me and maybe you're older than me, babe, let me tell you something. My mother was a single mother. I believe when she started on her own as an entrepreneur after struggling, I believe she was 45 years old when she started to build her business and planted the seed, bought a home, and was actually laid off when she bought her home. I just remember my mom telling me all these stories, but I grew up in suffering. And I have just seen a resilient mother. I've also worked with so many incredible women where I have seen and heard their own resilient stories. So I know it is possible when you put your mind to something, you will not fail. You cannot half-ass anything in your life. And I know that in my 20s, of course, while bodybuilding and doing other things, if I had this drive and focus to be disciplined or to be the best, you got to really become the best and not even shrink yourself or count yourself out when you are starting out. You may not know what you are doing at first, but you are going to learn along the way as long as you don't give up and you continue to seek out guidance and mentorship. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I wanted massive results while giving half effort. And how many of y'all, especially when it comes to your nutrition and your health, how many of y'all are giving me a quarter or a half of your effort when you say you don't like how you feel, but you really want to change? All right. Half consistency, half discipline, half commitment. And I think a lot of people secretly do this. Everyone says they want the body, they want the business, they want the husband, they want the relationship, they want the marriage, they want the peace. And something that we all want success. But your daily habits and actions don't reflect the outcome you expect. One thing I have realized in my 30s, you cannot casually approach your life or casually just go through life and expect extraordinary results or expect anything extraordinary. At some point, I had to realize that discipline is self-love too. Discipline is self-love too. Because the highest version of you requires full participation from you, not anyone else, from you. When you say you want something and this is the time to go after it, this is the time to really see what you got. I'm going to announce something in a few weeks. And I told my girls and my man, I don't have any more time. So this is my opportunity right now to empty the tank. This is my opportunity right now to prove to myself that I have been slacking on my potential for so long because I didn't want to be disciplined. I wanted to half-ass everything and just get by. And a lot of us are just getting by with life because we're half-assing the effort that we could put in. You are going to be tired. You are going to be sore. You are going to be sad. You are going to be frustrated and confused some days. Trust me. My booty cheeks, they're so sore because my workout just crushed me yesterday. I still got to go work out. I got to eat and then head to the gym. It doesn't matter how you feel. When you have your mind set on something, you start showing up because this is where you want to go. You are going to be tired. Some days you're going to some nights you may get 4 hours of sleep. Some nights you may get 8 hours of sleep. Baby, you can rest when you feel like I have made it. I have done everything and I have emptied the tank to actually create a softer life for me. All right? If you are only losing sleep because you're staying up scrolling you're doing nothing that is moving you forward, you are wasting your own time. If you are in debt because you keep buying things that you don't need, material items, or trying to keep up, or you just have a spending problem, or you keep buying fast food because you're unprepared, that is your choice. You chose that is the debt that you wanted to accumulate. When you decide that this toxic man is the only thing available to you, of value to you, you have decided that this is where you want to be. If you know and you have this feeling that you could have more, it is time to amp it up. And yes, you will be tired. Do not rely on energy drinks, babe. You have not set your goals high enough with the belief of, let me see what I can do to climb and go and get it. I am a lion. If I see a mountain, I'm going to find my way so that I can get ahead of that mountain. I am not going to give up. I am going to push. And you know what? I've come to the realization that I've been comfortable and there's more that I can do and I can push. So many people may look at me like I'm successful. I don't personally think I'm successful. I don't think I've made it. So what? Somebody drives a nice car. Who cares? So what? Someone has a nice house or a relationship or assets. Who cares? There is no dollar amount that I'm currently seeking. There's no dollar amount that is a goal or a target for me where I'm like, that's what I'm going to be successful. This is not what it's all about. I know that I was put onto this earth to explore, to build skills, to experience, to lead, to encourage, to be all things and to be a part of things that actually move myself and other people forward. And if you're hiding and if you're shrinking yourself and you're spending your time, your money, your resources on anything unnecessary, you are wasting your potential and your opportunities to where you could go. Stop half-assing. If you're doing my challenge right now, stop half-assing and start getting into what you need to. Lock in. Just see what you really could do if you did try. If you really took your finances, what you spent your money on, seriously. You are still sticking with me for number 7. Thank you. I had to turn on my car for a little bit because it's so hot and my phone gets hot. I love you guys. I really loved this video. So be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it. And I just thank you all for coming back to these videos and allowing me to be a part of your life and share my own experiences and be a part of your life overall. Number 7, all my girls are gonna love this one. Number 7, I wish I focused on myself instead of seeking closure. I wish I focused on myself even more in relationships instead of seeking closure, especially when the relationship didn't go my way and I was being broken up with. It's happened to me twice. I wish instead of seeking closure, one of the biggest lessons that I have learned is closure is overrated when your life still needs work. How many of us can agree and reflect on, we have probably wasted time wanting answers. We've probably wasted time searching and seeking for an apology, wanting people to understand me. How about wanting revenge through validation? Meanwhile, the real revenge was becoming healthier, becoming happier, becoming more disciplined, more peaceful, more successful, and emotionally unavailable to chaos. I feel like I have mastered this finally, but I have to share it, ladies. Stop searching for closure and apologies. Just move on. The best revenge, I've said this many times, and I think this was my first video that I dropped, was about coming out of a relationship and my father passing away at the same time and how heartless someone could be after you've loved them for so long. Don't hold on to what you were creating or what you were building and be afraid of the next move forward when somebody has shown you their true colors, that they'll never be there for you. Don't beg for them back. Every redirection should be trusted. Every redirection did not align with where God actually wanted you to go. And had I not gone through these breakups, I would not be talking to you. Sometimes the best thing that you can do after a breakup, a heartbreak, disappointment, or betrayal is quietly rebuild yourself. Not for attention and not to prove anything to anyone, but because your future deserves the best version of you. Had I not gone through these breakups and friendship breakups, I would have never learned, baby girl, not to be so nice and kind and willing for everyone, not to overextend myself when there are red flags from friendships and relationships, not to waste my time or spend so much time investing into one person or one thing while losing myself in the process. Because while you're in a relationship, you should be becoming healthier, happier, and hotter. I just saw one of my favorites post about how to not gain any relationship weight. Babe, why are you gaining weight in your relationship unless you're pregnant? Because backside, why are you gaining weight in your relationship if you are not pregnant? For me, I'm going to get sexier and finer for me. When I'm walking with my man, he sees that there are options, because these men make it known, babe, if you don't wife her up, I will scoop her next. And it's not even about the body, but the aura, the confidence. There is no way that I am going to lose myself in a relationship ever again. I promised myself that. I owe this version to the old version of me that was kicked out of a house, had nowhere to go, and my dad died at the same time, and it was COVID. I owe this version that came from nothing. I owe this version that was insecure in relationships, begging for men to stay. And now I'm like, no, I will never put up with anything less than from what I deserve and what I give myself. And I had to pivot and redirect many times to get to this, where I am. And I may have to pivot and redirect more times in my life. This is what happens as you age. You live, you learn, you grow, you move on, and learn to pivot. This life is what you create of it. This life is what you create of it. You can sit here crying, pouting, and gossiping, or you can go and get your shit together, your mind and your body and your finances, and your love for God. And then you can run, you can build, you can reinvent. But listen, nobody's coming to save you, and there's no reason why you should be in a relationship getting uglier, broker, and just out of control. So I'm going to leave you with this. At the end of the day, it is not too late to reinvent yourself, and you're not stuck because of your age. Like I mentioned, I think my mom was in her late 40s when she started her career as an entrepreneur and is still building and has an amazing loyal clientele. You are going to be stuck if you continue to repeat cycles that you know don't serve you. The same patterns, the same way of thinking, the same familiar things that you keep going back to that are toxic while expecting a different life. I want you to look around you and see what you've been settling for when you know it's standing in your way. You're afraid to make the next move, babe, but the next move could really change your life. So how badly do you really want the life you say that you want? Your 20s, 30s, 40s, any season of your life, my girls, can become the beginning of your transformation when you decide, the moment you decide you're going to stop settling. So my last question for you is, who would you become if you finally stop talking yourself out of your own potential? I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Big hugs, big hugs. I am almost done my pre-workout meal. I have a doctor's appointment and I have to study for my exam. I guess I forgot to mention, if you're still watching, I wanted to pivot and try something new. I wanted to try something new, a different career field. And so I'm currently studying for an exam, and it is so hard. I got up this morning and I was thinking, what should I talk about today? And I am currently pivoting in my life, or adding in some new skills or a different career path that I never thought or imagined I would want to try. And it's never too late to pivot. It's never too late to want to explore new opportunities and new career paths, or just new paths for yourself, whether you're single or in a relationship. It's never too late to go to the gym. It's never too late to start saving or eating better. It's never too late to start traveling solo or just going different routes. It's never too late, and you're not too old. Just be mindful with how you spend your time, energy, resources, and finances, and especially your time. and you'll be good. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any topics that you'd like me to speak on, drop them down below. I'll see you guys.